Oxygen is one of those nutrients that can improve your soil, improve your plants, and just overall the entire ecosystem that is your garden or your houseplants. And today's video, we're going to talk about how you can actually increase the uptake of oxygen fertilizer and everything else in between. So let's get into the 17 essential nutrient series. Number 3, oxygen, a structural nutrient that is most definitely primary nutrient, macronutrient to the survival and thriving in just everything of a plant, oxygen. So oxygen is actually the last non-mineral version of nutrient that plants need to uptake. The first two are carbon and hydrogen, which we both spoke about, how to increase the uptake of both of these, or whether or not you even want to in the case of hydrogen. And this one is also taken up the same way carbon is taken up, and that is via the leaves. However, it actually can also be uptaken by the root. And this is because your soil in proper conditions should have some oxygen present. There's 3 methods it's uptaken with: diffusion, which is the root method, through the air exchange, and then lastly through water, which would be in the form of H2O. Now, if you've ever heard me talk about soil structure, you've obviously heard me mention the 3 different factors that make up majority of soils. And that is particulate matter, so the physical soil itself, air, and then water. Sometimes in a garden you could include the third one because it is in such high mass and that is organic material, but typically we're only speaking to the 3. Now, wherever there's not water and there's not soil, there should be air. And this isn't necessarily a 30-30-30 split. It can vary depending on, say, the texture of your soil. To put into perspective how important oxygen is to your plants, Sid, one of the people that helped with the invention that is the Earth One plant sensor, actually had an alocasia that was not doing well. And he initially was monitoring all the different aspects that make up that plant monitor. And one thing he did notice was that suddenly the water uptake just plummeted, and it actually decreased. He went from watering every second day to not needing to water so much. So he adjusted other factors. For example, we look at moisture, the VPD that the plant needs to be in, the air, the light, the temperatures, the humidities. We put science to the test with this sensor all the time. None of these factors seemed to be working. So then he thought to himself, I need to change the soil. And lo and behold, the moment he changed the soil, the plant began to take off again. Now, the reason for this is very likely due to the fact that the soil that the plant was originally in was compacted, degraded, because it's a potting soil. And over time, organic potting soils, soilless mediums, will compact, and that's very normal, very natural. Sid didn't even have to pot his alocasia into a bigger pot. He literally just had to put it in the same one with new soil. This is because he's now redistributing the volume of oxygen. Oxygen is important because without it near the roots, the plant can't breathe. And if the plant can't breathe, then it's suffocating underwater. And if it's suffocating underwater, it's just like us humans. We can't eat underwater and neither can a plant. So oxygen needs to be present for any nutrient uptake to happen. So one of the first ways you can actually improve your oxygen uptake is via watering. You want to make sure you're watering the appropriate amount at the appropriate times. And this means you do not want your plant to dry out, because then you end up with too much oxygen space, and that's also bad. And you don't want it to be sopping wet, because then you end up with no oxygen and too much water. Something like a plant sensor can help with that. There's a link down below in the shop, YouTube shop, if you want to check it out. Plus, we're on Dragon's Den in January, just saying. The next factor, or the next way you can actually improve your oxygen in your soil, is via aeration. So I did a whole video on aeration, and whether it's the plugs or the spikes or the whatever you want to use, all of these actually increase oxygen, and the increase in oxygen also increases not only the root happy health, but the microbial activity within your soil, which means there's higher levels of decomposition, higher levels of mineralization, and higher levels of nutrient cycling, which ultimately means higher levels of bioavailable nutrients. So this addition of oxygen through simply removing some soil with a plug can help. The other method that seems to be pretty controversial in the world is tillage. And I personally don't mind doing tillage in a garden because what is life? Your little garden plot outside in your backyard, your 10 by 10, she's not saving the world. You're not losing topsoil rapidly. You're gonna be okay if you till it. And tillage can actually increase air. And the increase in air, you suddenly see an explosion in growth. Anyone who's suddenly decided to start tilling their garden instead of leaving it alone has realized that their garden does a heck of a lot better. It thrives and survives a heck of a lot more. And it's because of that addition of air. It improves various different aspects. I don't recommend it in all cases, but in some it's definitely necessary, and it can be the make it or break it as to whether or not you continue to garden. The last video, I really upset somebody about not speaking to the fact that not all microbes that are anaerobic are bad. And because of that, they said it's a horrible science-based channel. Shame on me. Now, yes, there are some that are out there that are beneficial. There's a combination of ones that are in really high levels of water soil, so overly saturated soils. There are ones that are involved in compacted soils, and then there are ones that are just lower in the soil profile. So let's break these out. Number one, the ones that are lower in the soil profile, these you could claim as being good guys, because any work that they do in regards to degradation or mineralization, it's not bad, because to be honest, you're not going to get much oxygen down there anyways, regardless of what you do. And you need those guys down there kind of solubilizing phosphate, doing a little bit of work over time. Now, the next group, the fully saturated water ones and the ones in the compacted soil, yes, there are some that can help with degradation. There are some that can be used actually as a biological form of pesticide. Instead of a fungicide in particular, you can use anaerobic bacteria to kill off fungus. You can also use anaerobic bacteria to kill off the bad aerobic bacteria. Now, with that being said, it's going to kill off the good guys too. That's pretty obvious. The other thing they can do is they can stunt or destroy the roots on a plant. So if you have a weed, obviously this is going to kill them off. If you have a plant that's just like a little bit too vigorous and you want to limit its growth, obviously you can use anaerobic bacteria for this as well. If you're going to Google this and you're going to look it up, there is an entire company out there that makes a product called BAM. Now, BAM has been studied, and BAM is a product used for agricultural use, not for like gardeners typically. It stands for beneficial anaerobic microbes. This product is not a natural concentration of anaerobic bacteria. So what the product does and et cetera and so forth, there are studies, you're going to find it referenced a lot of the time when you Google it, but this is not your classic ecosystem microbes. These are a little bit above and beyond and in obviously higher concentrations. So just something to think about. I am sorry to all the anaerobic microbes out there. You mean something to this world as well, and I apologize. The next one is actually to increase airspace. Now, this can be via pruning and actually ensuring that there's proper airflow so that that gas exchange can take place on the stomata, very similar to what we see with the carbon fertilizer end. And the other option would be to make sure the spacing is proper, or simply that there's a fan on the plant if it's indoors, that there's air moving around the plant leaves to facilitate that taking place. So something I completely forgot to mention in the last video, and I had it in my notes and I just totally skipped it because I don't watch my notes when I really start getting passionate and ranty. But anyways, I forgot to mention carbon dioxide and the fact that greenhouses or enclosed systems actually benefit from having CO2 pumped into that greenhouse in higher levels. So they actually have CO2 capturing systems that push CO2 into the system. On a smaller scale, like for example, a fish tank, you can get like little CO2 canisters. They're kind of cute. Anyways, CO2 just being pumped into the space as well for the carbon side. So just a fun fact, if you have a greenhouse, the doors are closed and
it's not getting a lot of air exchange from the outside, something to consider is that you may not have enough CO2. And that can actually affect a lot of stuff. So just keep that in the back of your head. Who knows? Maybe you need a carbon sequestering machine in your yard. You're welcome. And maybe they're on Black Friday sale. Or it's on Black Friday's way long done by the time this is getting posted. Anyways.
Now the last one, personally my favorite, is the use of porous pots. So this can come in all different shapes and sizes. You can get air pruning pots, you can get clay terracotta pots, and you can get fabric or hemp pots. All of these actually will help with air infiltration into your soil system without aerating, without having to poke holes or do anything fancy. This increase can do a few things. It can actually increase physically the number of roots you have by causing your ends, your apical meristem, to kind of singe off and then split, but also helps with gas exchange in and around the root ball and the microbes, sort of, depending, very specific circumstances. Pots are kind of one of those things where, is there microbes? That's a whole video on its own, but anyways. The roots, though, they will appreciate the little boost of air. And if you want to know more on whether or not these containers should be plastic, because plastic may or may not be dangerous to your health and your plants, check out this video right here. And that video is what Google says you should watch. I'll talk to you guys next time.